Hello everybody, welcome to Edutap and also welcome to the government scheme session. The scheme that we are covering today, it is Prime Minister Janjati Adivasi Nyay Maha Abhiyan. I'll just translate that to English for better understanding. Janjati, it means tribe. So basically under the scheme we are focusing, or the government is going to focus on the tribal community. Adivasi, if you translate this Adivasi word to English, it means original inhabitant of a particular place, and they only form the tribe, right? So here we are talking about such community that is still not been merged into the mainstream, so inhabitants, okay. And then nyay means what? It means justice. And then it talks about Maha Abhiyan is like a movement that is going on. Maha Abhiyan is like a big movement that is going on. So here it talks about the scheme. By the definition, by the full form, we understand that somehow it talks about providing justice to the tribal community, Adivasi communities specifically, if we talk about, who are still living in the original habitat, right? And why we will study about it? Because there's a lot of schemes. There's just two screenshots that I've taken here, but there are a lot of schemes, and that too of the recent time. This is of 14th Jan. This previous this news is of 15th Jan. So recently a lot of information is there. For example, 30 crore Ayushman cards, I'm sorry, created under Ayushman Bharat Pradhan Mantri Jan Arogya Yojana. And then apart from that, there was some money allocation under the Awas Yojana also, Grameen, right? So these are the different schemes that we already know. So how is it linked to this particular scheme? It is our aim to understand in today's session. But before that, here's an announcement for all the aspirants who want to prepare for the central regulatory bodies. We have come up with one-stop solution guide to all the queries that you must be having regarding the organization that you want to join. For example, if you want to know more about RBI, NABARD, SEBI, that all the information along with the hierarchical structure in the institution, what will be your role once you join the organization as a certain designation, everything has been mentioned. Along with that, all about the recruitment process. So how many phases are there, what is the pattern of each phase, what is the previous year cutoff trend say about the difficulty level of the examination, what is the syllabus, and all the other detailed information. At the end, we have also given some steps that you can follow on your own if you want to prepare for this preparation all by yourself, so that you do not have any confusion. So do not miss the opportunity. You can download these e-guidebooks, which are free of cost, let me tell you, from the link that is provided in the description box below. Now if we talk about this PM-JANMAN Yojana, in short form it is Janman Yojana, alright. So what is this all about? Dekho, what happened initially, we know that in India tribal community it exists, and there are a lot of quota and special schemes that are running to include them in the mainstream, right? But in the tribal community also, some got the more, you can say, some got more focus of the government, and they are, to many extent they are still able to get along with the mainstream community. But still among the scheduled tribe also, there are a lot of communities that are not able to get engaged with the mainstream communities, right? So what happened in 1973, there was a Debar commission, okay, and they gave this name to such communities which belong to tribal. And even though there are various programs that are running to include the tribal community to the mainstream, but still in them also some were, you can say, either ignored, the word you can use, or maybe they were not much focused on, right? So they came up with this term, primitive tribal community, okay, primitive tribal group, you can say, the tribal group or tribal community, you can say, okay. So this Debar commission, it came with this name, that this is the primitive tribal group, and these need to get focused on, all right. Then what happened in 2006? Later on, this name primitive tribal group was changed into particularly vulnerable tribal group, okay. And in short form, we call it PVTG. And last year also there was one question, I think in NABARD or RBI, that was related to PVTG group community, all right. And that is why we are focusing on this scheme as well. So what happened? So now we understood that there are some particularly vulnerable tribal groups that exist, and we have to include that into mainstream media, in the mainstream community. Why is it so? Because see, even this community, it contributes to the 1/10 of the human resources that we have in India. So of course it is very important, and for two level. First of all, they are the human resources in India, and apart from that, whatever be the benefits, perks, benefits, and all the luxuries that other people they enjoy, and even the basic needs, like for example, healthcare facility, that is a basic need, right? Proper infrastructure, that is the road connectivity, right? Proper hospital, education, those are the basic needs and rights of people, right? So that the people, the particularly vulnerable tribal group can have that. So this particular scheme was introduced. So how this will be run? And if we talk about, yes, one more thing I want to highlight, like there are more than 700 tribal groups that exist in India, but we specifically, if we talk about PVTG, they exist somewhere in the 18 states and plus one UT, which is our Andaman and Nicobar. Okay, Andaman and Nicobar. So if we talk about the tribal communities that exist in almost every state, okay, but if we talk about the particularly vulnerable tribal group, they exist in our 18 states and one UT, which is Andaman and Nicobar Island. That is what mentioned in the guidelines. Okay, and under the scheme, these communities or these groups will be taken into consideration. Now how that will be done? It's a simple formula that there are already, we know, we have studied n number of schemes that already are there, right? So what's the use of then making again new schemes which have the same agenda or objective which already exists, right? So under the scheme, what will be done? These ministries and their programs, they will be converged, and a little bit of modification will be done so that they can fit into the PVTG requirement. What does it mean? It means, for example, if I say Gram Awas Yojana, it is going on where the housing is being provided to the people, like some financial assistance is provided and some they have to take as loan. This is altogether different scheme, but I'm just giving you an idea, right? Now what is done under the scheme, what will be done? A little bit of here and there modification will be done according to, you know, where the place should be provided, how they should be aware about this particular about the particular initiative, and how they can be added onto the scheme. Okay, so simple idea kya hai? There are already various schemes that exist. A little bit of modification will be done in each of the schemes in accordance with the PVTG requirement, and they will be included in the mainstream. Okay, this is all about this particular scheme, but there are some data points also that we will study. For example, the launch year. Okay, so the launch year is 2023, and although there are 9 ministries that will focus on this scheme, they will work together, convergence will be done. However, if we have to talk about that one nodal ministry, so Ministry of Tribal Affairs will be the nodal ministry under the scheme. Okay, collaboration, as I talked, there are 9 ministries. I will even show you what are the schemes, collaborative initiatives under the scheme, and which ministries are there, but let's go step by step. Okay, so 9 ministries will be there, and how they all will coordinate. So basically we have PM Gati Shakti, and I hope everybody by now, I have also made a video, you can watch that, or even some of you might know that there is a PM Gati Shakti scheme, where what happens, where all the ministries, they would for improving or developing the infrastructure in India, they all will converge, like step by step process will happen, right? For example, it is not going to be like that first roads are made and then optical fibers are being you know, the roads are being dug and optical fibers are being implanted, because that is a waste of resources, right? So that is why PM Gati Shakti scheme was made, where all the information of all the ministries are there in one platform, so that one ministry can do their task by looking at what other ministry is up to currently, right? So it is to make this easiness, this particular PM Gati Shakti one portal has been made. Now what will be done, this there will be a separate component under the portal only, will be converged under the PM Gati Shakti portal, so that again all the ministries have prior information what other ministry are up to, so that they can plan their own execution accordingly. ठीक है, सिंपल सी बात है. तो PM गति शक्ति पोर्टल का there is a role that you have to keep in mind. If we talk about now which type of scheme is this, so basically as we discussed that pre-existing schemes, a little bit modification will be done as per the requirement of the PVTG. That is why if some schemes are central sector, so they will be act as a central sector only, but if some schemes that are running currently as centrally sponsored schemes, those will be run as such, right? And as we discussed that there is a little bit of modification, or because focus of them has been given, so there will be some additional requirement of money, right? So the funding is already under the respective schemes. However, because we have to slightly focus on PVTG, PVTG, so slight, a little bit of more money can be required, right? So for that purpose, the outlay that has been designed, it is approx 24,000 crore, all right, where the central share will be 15,336 crore and state share will be 8768 crore. Okay, so ye outlay you have to keep in mind. Now let's talk about the objectives. So objectives, basically what is the objective? The main objective that we have already studied, right? Why do we want to include them to mainstream? Basically to improve their the social condition, right? That they should be engaged and they should be just a inseparable part of the society, right? And to improve the economic condition as well, because you can understand if they are Adivasi, they are living in their primitive lifestyle only, so the economic condition is very very basic, right? So we have to improve that. And how that can be improved? By saturating, by including this PVTG families and their habitation with basic facilities and services. And when we say basic facility and services, what could be that? First of all, the first point that we have to touch is about in enhancing their socio-economic status. How that can be done? By improving them, by providing them skills, the new skills that they can acquire, which can help to improve their livelihood opportunities, right? Proper vocational training is provided and income generation opportunities, and also along with that, improving the education and health facilities. Second is about community infrastructure. So when we talk about community infrastructure, we are talking about roads, mobile connectivity, electricity, right? Anganwadi facilities for the children, then education, health access, right? You have to keep in mind, in first case we are talking about providing the soft skills, but in second case we are talking about implementing the community infrastructure. So here if I talk about education, I am talking about building the schools. In first case it was just to have good education that should be provided, but when I talk about community infrastructure, I mean that actually should be established, proper good schools should be established, right? And third is about saturating individuals. So the second point that we looked at, it talked about at the community level. So infrastructure development at the community level, road will be used by the community, right? The schools, health facilities will be utilized by the community, but at individual level also, if you look at it. So for example, we are talking about pakka houses, we are talking about drinking water. Vocational education is the skill that is provided by providing them with the practicality, with the practicals and all stuff. ठीक है, तो vocational education, ठीक है, तो at individual level also the focus will be given, at community level also the focus will be given, and of course to improve their livelihood opportunities, their income generating opportunities, a lot of will be done under the scheme. So this is the objective, right? Now there are some foundational features. Foundational features means for example, what are the things have been kept in mind while designing this particular scheme, right? First of all, the main important key feature is the interministerial convergence. There are 9 ministries, and we also understood that with the help of PM Gati Shakti portal, all will be informed about the other ministry tasks and they can coordinate accordingly, right? Alignment of schemes and programs in accordance what is required by PVTG group. Okay, so there are already schemes and programs that are there, but they should be aligned properly, and of course the convergence of the scheme to the PVTG group is one of the foundational key feature. Talking about identification of the gaps, so of course there is some gap exists between the current schemes and the requirement of PVTG, right? So this will be checked by the physical surveys. So physical surveys will be done. It will be understood that according to a particular PVTG, or you can say PVTG group in a certain area, what are the demands, where is the gap that is lying, and how to fulfill that gap. So for that, physical surveys will be done. Apart from that, if we talk about provision of funds, so the ministry, they will declare the outlay that they will be requiring, right, for certain tasks, right? And then that will be, furthermore, that will be approved. Okay, then implementation and monitoring mechanism through again PM Gati Shakti portal, that will be easily done. And under the scheme, what will be done? Reward mechanism will be there. However, in guideline I could not specifically find like what is the reward that has been designed, like, or how much that has been decided. Maybe that will be decided on later on, or if you know about it, please comment it down. But reward mechanism, because here actually reward mechanism is a way to check that if there is any progress that is going on or not, right? So district wise, this reward, first top 3 districts will be given the awards, and it will be based on, like, how much improvement from previous whatever facts and data must be there, what the improvements have been done, on that basis reward mechanism is also one of the foundational key features. ठीक है, अब scope की बात करें, again what is the scope of the scheme? The major goal is what that we have understood, right? To improve the socio-economic condition. So when we talk about what is the scope of the scheme, to focus on safe housing, ठीक है, proper clean drinking water and sanitation will be taken into consideration under this, proper education. Okay, these are in details, you can read it once, but I hope from the topic itself you would understand like what are the things that would be focused on under. For example, healthcare and nutrition, so of course proper services that should be there, and when we say services we mean regular checkups, nutrition programs, right? So all these things that from the heading also you can pretty much understand, but you can read it once, right, for the for your own understanding. And under the scope of the scheme is the road and telecom connectivity that should be there, and sustainable livelihood opportunities, empowering them with proper vocational training, capacity building, etc. Right? Now, very important is to memorize and remember there are 11 critical interventions. There are 9 ministries that are involved, no doubt, right? But there are 11 points that will be focused under the scheme. Even if I have mentioned all these, what are the 11 interventions that are there, I would recommend read it twice or thrice, you would understand, right? Because these are already like basic things that are there, right? What thing you have to keep in mind first of all is to not forget this number, that is 11 critical interventions. In examination it can be as simple as that. In PM-JANMAN there are 11 critical interventions that will be taken into consideration. Okay, so 11 is at least something that you have to remember. Ministries, how many? 9 ministries. Critical interventions, how many? 11, right? Apart from that, you need not to memorize each and everything under it. What you can do, you can just keep in mind the beneficiary targets, okay? The secondary thing. Now if I have to prioritize the data that is there, the first prioritized data is 11 critical interventions. If you want to move one step ahead for safer side, take care of the news that is there. Okay, what are the news that is there? If you want to be one more step ahead, then in that case what you have to keep in mind, the targets that are there. ठीक है, तो ये thing that you have to keep in mind. Individual activity scheme ministry you need not to remember. However, when we are discussing about this scheme, let's just understand like what are the ministries and scheme and what are the activity, those 11 critical interventions that are actually there. The first one being provision of pakka houses. Okay, so pakka houses will be provided, easy to keep in mind, right? And this comes under which scheme? Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana Gramin, and which is part of your Ministry of Rural Development. Under the scheme it is expected that here housing household, HH is household, okay? How many having all PVGT group household having kacha houses 4.9 lakh, ठीक है, उनको they will be targeted under it, okay? Connecting roads, we have to connect them to the mainstream also. So Pradhan Mantri Gram Sadak Yojana will work into under it, and we know this scheme also falls under the Ministry of Rural Development. What is the target? To build to develop 8,000 kilometer of road, okay? Then piped water supply, right? So that clean water supply is the next step. The first is to at least have that water supply, right? So piped water supply, which falls under our Jal Jeevan mission, and there is spelling error here, but it's from the official guideline, but I hope you understand, okay? This falls in the Ministry of Jal Shakti, and all the particularly vulnerable tribal groups household will be included under this, okay? Apart from that, community water supply hoga, जिसमें villages, habitation, population of less than 20 household, they will be grouped or targeted under this, okay? Then mobile medical units with medicine cost. Mobile medical units means such vans which have all the medical facility and they can move from place to place, right? It is very important because maybe if you're in a certain area where the hospitals still have not been made, or maybe the hospitals are at a far off places, right? So these mobile medical units which can move from place to place actually helps the locals of that area, right? So it comes under the scheme National Health Mission, falls under your Ministry of Health and Family Welfare, and currently the target is to the number of beneficiaries or targets are 1,000, ठीक है? तो 1,000 इसके अंदर रखे गए हैं. However, they have not mentioned if it means household or people, right? It's 1,000, and this is again the screenshot directly from there. right, from the guideline only. Then again, construction and running of hostels, samagra shiksha ke andar department of school education and literacy, at least 500 such units will be made. Okay, so these mobile medical units, these units that we are talking about, those will be 1000 in number, like 1000 vans it will be there, right? Similarly, running of hostels, 500 these hostels, as such hostels will be made. Okay, construction and running of anganwadi falls under Ministry of Women and Child 2500 such आंगनवाड़ी सेंटर्स विल बी मेड, राइट. अपार्ट फ्रॉम दैट वी हैव ये आपका ये जो वन जो आपके जो दोज आर रिलेटेड टू योर फॉरेस्ट डेवलपमेंट. ओके, तो आपका ये उससे रिलेटेड है, मिनिस्ट्री ऑफ ट्राइबल अफेयर्स है, 500. एंड देन कंस्ट्रक्शन ऑफ मल्टीपर्पज सेंटर बनाए जाएंगे, एनर्जाइजेशन ऑफ अनइलेक्ट्रिफाइड हाउस होल्ड, देयर व्हाट विल बी डन, पावर विल बी प्रोवाइडेड, इलेक्ट्रिसिटी विल बी प्रोवाइडेड, सोलर लाइटनिंग, ठीक है, प्रोविजन ऑफ 0.3 किलोवाट सोलर ऑफ ग्रिड. ओके, ऑल दीज थिंग्स विल बी प्रोवाइडेड. Installation of mobile towers will be there, vocational education and training will be provided under the Kaushal Vikas, right, so that they have good opportunities. Now, these are 11 critical benefits we have. Apart from that, there are other benefits also, which has been said that they do not exclusively come under the interventions. However, a little bit of focus or awareness that they can be part of these schemes, which can help them or ease their way of living. It will be aware to them. All right, so for example, name of scheme intervention क्या होगा, जैसे other benefits है, these are not included under your 11 critical interventions. For example, Aadhaar card, Garib Kalyan Anna Yojana, to aware them about that these are the things also that they can be part of. And somewhere, you know, the efforts by the ministries will also be done so that they can be included under this as well. However, they are not the 11 mainstream interventions that we have, critical interventions. Please keep in mind, those are critical interventions. These are the additional benefits that can be, or additional interventions that can be there. These are not mandatory, right? Ayushman Bharat card se bhi they can be linked, Samman Nidhi Yojana, Kisan credit card, Jan Dhan Yojana, to, you know, to make them aware and get included under Jan Dhan Yojana, Jeevan Jyoti Bima Yojana, Suraksha Bima Yojana, Atal Pension Yojana. They all come under your Department of Financial Services. PM Vishwakarma, they are being given financial assistance and training to the local artisans. Then we have Sukanya Samriddhi, Matru Vandana, Surakshit. These are all the schemes that are already running. I hope you have the understanding by now that the already existing schemes, a little bit of touch and focus on PVTG will be done. There are 11 critical interventions that are there, and some additional benefits that can be provided, right? Talking about the implementation structure, so at central level we have a high powered committee that is chaired by the honorable Minister of Tribal Affairs. Okay, apart from that, we have convergence committee, mission steering committee. All in all have the same role only to properly implement, to monitor, guide. At state level there will be an apex committee, coordinating committee, and block level committee. Isme you need not to, you know, keep in mind each and everything, okay, but just look at the who are the chairperson and that's it, right? There's not a lot to be memorized under it. Now I hope when you have understood about the scheme, now it is easier to understand the news. For example, PM releases first installment to 1 lakh PMAYG beneficiaries under Janman. ठीक है, आवास योजना के अंदर इतना लाख दिया गया. Apart from that, 30 crore Ayushman cards created under Ayushman Bharat. देखो, I have to again, I want to reiterate that those are the other benefits also that will be focused on, right? And there are some critical interventions also, right? So please do not get confused in between them. Here under the case, the cards have been provided, right? But those are not your critical interventions. Those are the other benefits which government want to work on, right? So that is all in this. There's a homework for you all. Try to attempt that. And in last question, only these were the right answer. However, many answers were given, but these are the right answer. Why first or third were wrong? Because in first option it was said smart city mission, but in the new in the scheme we understood that those were the Amrut cities that will be worked on, right? So that is why in Namaste scheme I'm talking about, right? In last scheme, so because it was smart city mission was written, that is why first statement became wrong. Second state was to include them into the social security scheme, that was right, and here as all of you have given. And third one, it said that for the formal workforce. Now there was the catch, because we understood that the scheme is not for the formal workforce, it was for the informal workforce, because we have to convert the informal workforce in the formal workforce, right? So that is why the third statement was wrong, and only Rajiv, Ayush, Ronak and Harpreet had given the right answer. So that is all in this video. If you like the video, do let me know in the comment section, and also if you want me to cover any scheme. Okay, so in this also Ronak has asked me to bring a session on smile scheme. See, currently Ronak, the smile scheme, it is not that much in news, right? So if you find some PIB article, you can share it in the comment section, and then I'll made it. I personally, I tried to find any recent news, but as it was not there, that is why I did not prioritize this. Okay, I hope you understand that on what basis we are going for scheme, because in examination only such schemes are asked which are in news. All right, you can join our Telegram channel to get the PDF of this and every lecture that we provide here on YouTube. So that is all in this video. We'll meet again with another scheme which is in news. Until then, all the very best for your examination, and thank you.